Barney. Hubbard went into hiding in his later years and relied on messengers to control the Church of Scientology. Did the fact that he was unable to exert day-to-day control over the church result in a less authoritarian and more spiritual, quote-unquote, environment? Hey, Barney, thanks for this. Okay, so no, Scientology did not become a kinder, gentler version of Scientology when Hubbard went into hiding. And the reason for that is because all those people were desperate to get Hubbard back. He hadn't died. He was just in hiding, right? He had gone off the lines, so to speak, because of the evil wogs and the evil wog law. And so they had to fight and push back against all that, which is why they were infiltrating the government and doing all the crazy shenanigans they were getting up to. When Hubbard went off the lines, the people who took over had been the people who were raised by Hubbard. The messengers, they were the ones who took over after the whole mission fiasco and the GO, Guardian's Office fiasco. So, in fact, they were the ones who took out the GO ultimately and took out all the missions ultimately at Hubbard's behest, but still, they were the ones who actually executed the orders. And they continued to run Scientology in a very, very authoritarian, dictatorial way. They did not bring it into a kinder, gentler phase. If anything, exactly the opposite. The more paranoid Hubbard became about infiltration into Scientology, that people like the FBI or the CIA were sending plants in and were trying to disrupt and destroy the organization. This was a big narrative running inside at the upper levels at that time. And they were paranoid as hell about being, infiltrated. So if anything, the tension levels and anxiety levels raised when Hubbard went away. And they were working their butts off to try to reorganize Scientology structurally, legally, in order to make it safe for him to return and in order to strengthen and really, really steel up Scientology so that it could never have another FBI raid happen again, would never be as legally exposed as they had been. That was what all of their effort was being put into when Hubbard went off the lines. And then he died in 86. And by that time, a new star had risen, and that was David Miscavige. He had gone from Action Aid and so it was sort of middle, low-level messenger. He had risen. And he had through all the methods and chicanery that we've talked about, where he got himself put in a place where he was the relay point between L. Ron Hubbard and the rest of Scientology. Very powerful position to be in, and he could control quite a bit with that. Plus, David Miscavige himself established some presence, and he was this raging mad little guy, and and nobody wanted to get in his way. Jesse Prince started getting in his way and was sec-checking him and dealing with him at Hubbard's behest. But then Hubbard died. And just prior to that, of course, Miscavige and his partner in crime were making sure that those reports about that sec-checking and stuff didn't even get in front of Hubbard. So he basically sneaked his way through all that and ran the gauntlet he needed to run and got rid of all the people he needed to get rid of so that he could take power and not have anybody fight back against him. And that whole coup took about, 4 to 6 years. So after Hubbard died by 1987, Miscavige was in charge and no one else was anywhere in a position to take him out. He had arranged things that way. So this is where all the attention was at there. This is what these people were doing. And there were a lot of, administrative slaughters, I guess you could say, people being gotten rid of, old guard, people loyal to Hubbard, people loyal to his ideas, and not loyal to Miscavige and his vision. They were just getting ousted left, right, and center. So that was the situation there. At the lower levels, this anxiety and paranoia filtered down to them. And after the mission fiasco, where they got rid of all the missions or turned them into orgs, more correctly, there would have been this splinter. A whole bunch of people had left. So really, the early mid-'80s were really all about just keeping it going at all. much less, trying to make it kinder, gentler. That was not the effort. The effort was to make it stronger and harder and tougher. And that was what the Sea Org was trying to do during that time, while still trying to play this weird balancing act of maintaining a friendly PR image and an image that everything was under control and everything was great and everything was fine, when it wasn't. So, so it was a pretty crazy time and a lot going on there. But no, not a less authoritarian, a more spiritual environment. That's not what was going on during that time.